Welcome, Silindile. Silindile, you just taught me how to say your name just now nicely. Like I just
Yeah.
pronounced everything that I saw in front of my name. How are you this
Yeah, well,
evening?
as I said to you, I'm used to people pronouncing it Silindile, but it's actually Silindile, but I'm okay. I'm not a person who's fussy with, names and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as I get the most of your syllables in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with my name, I've gotten so used to saying Jenna or Jen. Because being Genevieve got 4 E's in it, and somebody sees it, they first start with the G, and there's a problem with the G, that the G must sound like a J. So I hear you. After a while, I'm just like, my name is Jenna. And then I get called Gina. I'm like, I'm
It's
Gina also.
okay.
I'm okay. So awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to come through and hear what FHC consulting and what I had thought about interviewing you and just literally introducing a lot of what you do into my community as well. I really, really appreciate your time. Technology has shown us flames
Okay.
today. It is shown us flames.
It happens to the best of us. It's
To the
okay as
best of
long
us,
as the
right?
message is gonna get there eventually.
Absolutely. So let's just dive right in because I think I've given quite a bit of prelim to a lot of people, and those that will just watch us after the interview will obviously get a lot more information from yourself. So everybody out there, this is Silindile, and she is the property Stokvel queen. Like I said, I jumped on that name, and she's really just come into the property investing space from a Stokvel point of view, and she's just blown the market right out of the park. So Slee, just share with us a bit of your backstory that literally gives you a vested interest in property investing specifically.
Sure. Okay. My story with regards to property, really, it dates to back home. My mother had the wisdom really to. She was just a school teacher, but she had the wisdom to actually build what we call back rooms. And the cash flow that we managed to get out of those rooms, really made a difference to our bottom line as a family.
Yeah.
So I really saw the benefits of property investing, even though I didn't really think it was investing. I just thought I'm a room and that's it. But you know,
Yeah, I'm with you.
but at the end of the day, if you think about back rooms and I'm a room, they are drivers of the township economy. They're quite important in all those things, but I don't think they're given the recognition and the status that they deserve.
Isn't it
Um,
just? Yes.
Yes. So that was my intro into property investment, if you will, from a family perspective.
Yeah.
And from my own perspective, it was when I got my first when I started working, I rented for a year, and then the following year I was like, "Hey, but I'm paying someone else's bond. Why am I paying someone else's bond? I'm gonna get my own place."
Love it.
And then I got like a 2-bedroom place, and then like it hit the fan. I couldn't really afford to keep up with the bond payments, but I thought instead of losing my place, I'd rather just get a roomie who's gonna stay in the other room.
Love
So now
it.
I was like, yeah. So then now I had actually had a roommate who actually was paying more than the shortfall that I had on my bond, and basically we then shared all the expenses, and it worked out to be cheaper than to work out better for my cash flow. And then
With
subsequent
you.
to that, I then started actually, oh, this is actually like a thing. You can actually like rent out your own houses, like proper houses, not on a back room. So that's when
Yeah.
I started. That's when I started actually like with just one bedroom that I bought and I rented out. So that was sort of like my foray into property investing. But I really realized, good, oh, this is actually quite cool. You can actually like buy a property and rent it out. Someone else can pay your bond. So now I was on the other side of the coin where someone else was paying off my bond, which is pretty awesome.
Nice.
And that's when, I thought, okay, fine. If I, as an individual, can buy one little flat, if we are a group, how much more could we do? We could buy, you know,
Absolutely.
um, you could do a lot more than what I could on my own, and that is when I started a Stokvel. It was just a lady Stokvel, and we're going to be 10 of us, and I thought, okay, cool, we're going to buy properties, and we're going to buy little blocks, and then we're going to co-own them, and we're going to live happily ever after. So
Okay.
during that journey, yeah, so that taught me quite a lot about, because I'd never been in a Stokvel before. My
Okay.
mother was in Stokvel. My mother was a teacher, and they are likers of things. They had Stokvels for everything. So, but I had never really, yeah, so I had never really been interested in like Stokvels, because I thought, okay, we collect money and we distribute it, so what? I can just put a stop order or debit order and save 1,000 rand a month and pay myself 4,000 rand every 4 months, because it's like the money doesn't have any returns. It's just rotating, or we're just buying groceries, or we're going on holidays. I can save for myself. I've got the discipline to do that. So, but when I thought, okay, but if you're putting money together to buy an asset that's going to give us cash flow, now you're talking,
Yeah.
So now it's no longer 1 rand in, 1 rand out. It's like you put in a rand, you get the 20 cents out or something along those lines. So now I thought, okay, cool, this property thing seems to work, and this Stokvel thing can work, but with this twist. So we'd never done something like this before. We were like, okay, guys, let's do this. Let's figure it out as we go along.
Yeah.
So we had to learn, okay, how does this thing work? The legalities around it. What can we do? We had to learn. We had to, not only on property, because when I was starting just renting out these places, I was just winging it. I didn't know what I was
Yes.
doing. So, when you start investing, especially for other people, you need to be a little bit more sophisticated. So that's when I started taking the whole property education thing a lot more seriously. I thought, okay, I need
Wow.
to get myself educated, because I can't be gambling with people's money. I can afford to make mistakes with my money, but I can't make mistakes with other people's money.
Yeah.
So then attending seminars, attending certain events, reading as much as I can, being on bigger pockets. I think my data bill went up through the roof.
I relate to that one. There was a stage where TJ and I would drive if we decide to use one car and we're going to work at the time. And then all of a sudden in the morning it was Brandon Turner and his people. And I'm like, these guys are just so loud in the morning. Can we do this in the afternoon? And TJ says, no, in the afternoon, I'm just thinking about what had happened at work. But if I listen to this in the morning, while I'm at work, if something happens, I kind of ignore it because I'm thinking of Brandon and them's words and how I can build my own ladder. And I'm like, yo, we work so differently. In the morning, I've got other stuff going very slow, very mellow, meditative, right? That distracted me the whole day from work. Coming back from work, to forget about some of the ish I had, I would be listening to Bigger Pockets. So yeah, I love it. Sorry, I just couldn't help myself with Bigger Pockets. Needed to just throw my 5 cents.
Yeah. So my data bill went through the roof during those days, and that was actually when we decided to do the whole fiber thing, because we're like, what, data is expensive in South Africa. It's better just to have Wi-Fi in the house, and we can just watch as much, of these things as possible. But anyway, I digress.
Absolutely.
So it was those times, so I was very sort of active on social media, posting, and all of that. And there is, and I actually got invited by TJ to say, hey, I see you doing these. He had a podcast at the time. I see you doing these amazing things with your Stokvel. I would like to start a Stokvel. How does it work? Blah, 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 blah. So that was then when me and TJ met. It was when I was still in that investigative phase, because I was like going through this thing that I'd never experienced before. I didn't really know anyone who was doing it, because we had tried to find out some of the bigger Stokvels that we knew in the country. But when we read their documents, we're like, no, this thing, something just doesn't seem right here.
Yeah.
So we thought, sometimes if you feel uncomfortable, rather than start your own thing, we're like, okay, let's start our own thing. Let's actually understand exactly what is it and build it from the ground up. Then you know exactly how it works.
Yes, wonderful.
So anyway, yeah, so that is when we had to actually now go and find out and do all the research around, okay, how is this thing actually going to work? So I was sharing a lot at the time as I was finding out stuff, as I was learning things. I'd post on my Facebook page and all of that. So that's sort of the backstory predating Sakhisizwe.
I love it. No, that is so fascinating. You said something very interesting for me, and it will stand out, and literally from a trainer and a coach perspective, because in terms of what I always knew I wanted to be, regardless of the subject, I wanted to have mastered a subject and be teacher of that subject. So this is why I'm in training and coaching. So listening to what you've just said, you saw mom doing the back room and you just thought, it's just the back room and it's helping us, but later on in life you realize, hey, but actually once you start to going through understanding what property investing is, this is actually property investing, but not given the acknowledgement that it should be. So I want to ask you, this question at this given time with that acknowledgement. In your mind at the time, what did you think property investing was all about? So if somebody said to you, Slee, I am a property investor, how would you see that person?
I would see them driving, like those cars that we were driving at Melrose Arch, like
Oh, yeah. Yes, it
like
was
the
a Daytona or
McLarens
something like that.
and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Aston Martins and the Bentleys, and wearing power suits, and investing in these high-rise buildings in Sandton and Melrose Arch and Waterfall and what. So that's what I would have thought an investor is.
Investor is.
I
So
would have thought it's
true.
someone who's got a lot of money, and who looks a specific way, so who is not like me, to be quite honest with you.
Quite frankly speaking. But you know what, you're spot on with that. And I ask that question very specifically because what I have learned is that the moment anyone comes to me for training in property, I ask that question in the morning. It's one of the first questions. I got 3 questions I ask them in the morning. We write it on the board. We unpack the training the whole day. And then we come back and I say, so tell me again, who's a property investor? And it's a very different picture on the other side of education. And it was also
Mm-hmm.
very refreshing to hear in what you shared about education. You can play with your money if you want to, but you can't play with somebody else's money.
Mm.
And I think that is really powerful, especially in a Stokvel where there's so many people coming together to entrust you, who's the leader,
100%.
with that particular money. So that is awesome. So I just want to clarify for everybody that's listening is that a property investor, whether you use other people's money or use your own money, or you go to the bank and use a bond, or whether you have got friends and you come together as friends or family and you buy a property and somebody else is paying you rent, there you are, is a definition, a very loose definition of a property investor. Because so many people feel that a property investor, like yourself and me, I want to put myself in that same shoes because I bought my first 2-bed, 1-bath in 2005. And when my mom knew I bought that 2-bed, 1-bath, she was like, "Oh my girl, in the house, even though we rented until I retired, you and your sister make me proud, and now this is where you are, and you bought your first 2-bed, 1-bath." She was very emotional, right?
Mhm.
But she didn't call it 2-bed, 1-bath. She says you bought your very own home, and
Yes.
she went on about the home component, right? And a little bit later, because in my mind I thought, I wonder how I'm going to rent this place out and go and buy a house because somebody else must continue the bond here. I had this
Mm.
thing in my mind, having read Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I didn't know the how to on executing it. And it becomes so fascinating when we get to knowing the how to, when we're
Mm.
getting to know the nuts and bolts, and then we start realizing the word or the term property investor is not only for the elite. It's not only for
100%.
those that are in a Jenny Button suit. I imagined a Jenny Button suit. I didn't even know what Jenny Button suit was about, but I remembered one of my friends that were very posh, very posh friend saying, "Oh, I only wear a Jenny Button suit," and I thought, "A who now?"
I wonder what she's wearing now that the button is shut down, eh?
You know? Oh, I didn't. I didn't even know Jenny Button shut down. I must find out from her. While my money is collecting, we put 1 rand in and we're getting our 20 cents. While we're getting our 20 cents, I must find out how the Jenny Button is doing. That's a good one. But nonetheless, so here you are. You learn from mom. You decide you're going to get your own place. Then you get a roomie. Now all of a sudden you're multi-letting. You get a roomie, and your roomie is paying your bond, and then you keep going on and you decide, hey, I need to now use my money in a different way, because you get to a point where what you have been doing is no longer working the way it should, or you think it should. You started
Mhm.
investigating about, how do I do this journey? And it's really comforting to know, because what I do know about a lot of people that join Stokvel, they want to know the transparency of what's
Yeah.
happening in there. So big ups to
100%.
you. So
100%.
now, while you were going through this, and then you and TJ had this conversation, I just want to understand from you, what about this particular new venture or this epiphany that you experienced that, hey, going together with these guys could help my journey? Would you like to explain more about that?
Okay, so pre me actually officially meeting TJ, I was
Mhm.
like following them. Like as I was telling you that I was sort of everything property related because I was like, I'm just gonna be a sponge. Because we at the time we told ourselves, okay, guys, we're gonna give ourselves a year, and in that year we're gonna get as much knowledge as possible, so that when we are while we're raising money, so that when we are ready, we hit the ground and we just do things properly, right? So
Yeah.
in that year, I was basically just finding people who were doing property stuff and following them and basically just stalking them. So I was following TJ and Rita, and at the time I didn't even know that they worked together, but I was just fascinated with the stuff that they were doing, like basically renovating properties from them being dull and boring and looking amazing. And so when I got an inbox from him, I literally almost fell over. I'm like, he knows who I am.
I love it. Okay.
Like even the first time I met Rita, like I was having a serious groupie moment, and TJ had to tell me like, calm down, like anyway.
I love it.
so so then when I found out how they work, and what our challenges were, because we were like we were ladies, right, but we were all very very busy ladies, and at the time I was even still studying. I was doing my MBA, and so were my the ladies that I was with. They're busy with they're very busy business and corporate ladies. So the time, like there was a point where we had raised the money and now we're looking for opportunities, and now the challenge is, okay guys, who now out of us is going to go out and find these deals
Oh,
and manage it
wow.
and do all of that? So now it actually started slowing us down a bit in terms of our progress, because it was like, how do we move forward now? The money is there now. How do we move forward, and also
Mm-hmm.
the legalities around that and all of that. So then when I sort of we hit like a stumbling block. So when I met with TJ and he then explained, their business model and how they currently work with investors, and just the overwhelming request that people were saying, give us a stock file, we want to invest with you guys, but you guys want these monies that, the ordinary person doesn't have, but I can
Mm.
work my way towards having those kinds of funds. So he was like,
Wow.
see the stuff that you're posting. I don't know what's going on, but I think you've sort of been trying to figure it out. Come and work with us, help us, so that we basically solve the problem, So where people want to invest with them, but they don't have, like normally they request like 100,000 rand and above
Yes,
from
for the
investors.
premium members. Yes,
You're gonna get far with 2,500 rand, So
for
on its
sure.
own. So basically then it became like a meeting of minds, because it was like it was solving our problem, or the problem that I had, that
Yeah.
got money but we don't have the deals,
Yes.
and it was solving their problem whereby they had the deals but didn't have the money, you know
Okay.
so that's where then the crowdfunding, or the concept of Sakhisizwe came about, to say, let us then collaborate and
Mm-hmm.
actually help solve each other's problems, and start a stockfile that's going to address that particular need.
I actually am going to be naughty by saying this, but I'm fine with it. I remember early this year, we were in a room with Robert Kiyosaki and he was teaching us. It was May this year. Rieta, myself, and TJ were in the room. And Robert Kiyosaki turned around and said, guys, I don't care whether you got millions in the bank, but if you are using your own money, you are so darn lazy. Try and find another way to use other people's money. And there was a time I would tease Rietha and teach. I'm like, guys, are you using other people's money or you're tapping into your pockets? So they're like, Jen, don't bust our chops, okay? So it's lovely to hear how, because you were looking in your own way, right? TJ and
Mm.
Rietha were looking in their own way. And I also believe that whatever happens in this whole big universe, at some given point, the universe conspires to make things happen and
Yeah.
to see that you guys have a win-win situation. So I'm curious, all the ladies have got no time, you've got the monies together. At that time when you were thinking, where could we find deals, what would you go and look for online? Did you go to Google and type how to find deals? I know it sounds silly, but you know what I mean, though. Where did you,
Yeah.
where did you decide I'm going to search for something, but what am I searching for?
Okay, so what we initially did was that initially we did a survey, and we said, okay,
Okay.
guys, we in order to focus, we can't be everywhere. Gauteng is big. In fact, South Africa is big.
Yeah.
Where do we look? Do we start with Gauteng, KZN, Western Cape? Okay, so we said, okay, fine, let's focus on Gauteng, and then we said within
Okay.
Gauteng, where do we focus? Even that's even big, and even within
Absolutely.
Joburg, even within Pretoria, it's big. So it was very unsophisticated, Jenna. You're a coach, you're probably gonna laugh at us, but we were like, okay, let's do a survey, basically not backed by any evidence whatsoever, just on a okay, which area do you think we should invest in? So we'd be like, okay, Pretoria East, Centurion,
So where did you
CBD,
throw the
la la la.
survey?
We just did a survey, and then everybody just like, okay, I like the East. I like Centurion. I like,
I
so,
love it. I love it.
so that was our first sort of sifting criteria to see that which areas was everybody interested in, and then in terms of the
Thanks.
size of the properties, should we do 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, should we do bachelors, so we did like a survey monkey thing, which circulated to everyone. Guys, where do you think we should focus?
Yeah.
And then once we'd done that initial one, just to get a sense of where everyone was, we then pulled TPN report, like those investor reports that show, which areas are performing well in terms of rental escalations, default rates for the tenants, blah, 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 blah. So that came in quite handy, because even though maybe we had chosen a specific area, when we looked at the research, we then decided, okay, the research doesn't, because when we first initially did this, we just went on gut feeling. I like East, or I like Centurion, or I like the
Okay.
CBD, but it wasn't backed on any evidence. But now, when
Okay.
we actually I said, okay, this is now our top 2 or 3 areas. Let's now look at what the market performance is in those particular areas. Then we said, okay, fine, maybe because I remember we had chosen an overwhelming amount. I think it was Pretoria East, if I'm not mistaken. We thought, but the returns and it's not a good
Not
investment.
working.
It's not working. So that was the initial way that we had decided on where we were going to invest. And what we were going to use, really, we're just going to go to Property 24 and private property and
Okay.
look like the unsophisticated investors that we were. But it's okay. We had to
It's
start somewhere.
yes, there's a starting point. I absolutely get you. There's a starting point all the time.
And it's all we knew as well. So it's only as we go along that you actually find out there's other ways and means, especially if you're like a serious investor, that you
With
can
you.
get. But at the time, that's all we knew, and that's what we went with. Yeah.
So you didn't know people like me exist. I still play in
No,
that arena.
we didn't. We sort of did. But I mean, it was just a journey to say, okay, guys, there's actually a lot here,
Yeah,
and we need help. So
with
that is
you.
why I enrolled for property coaching. I enrolled with Carlo. I did his
Yes.
6-week training program. So that helped me now to just stop just sucking stuff and actually, like have a
Be
proper way
intentional.
of. I had to go through like proper formal education to have that knowledge and not just wing stuff.
You know, that is an amazing moment that you've just expressed, because when we don't know what we don't know, we will
Mm.
do the things that are we understand, and it's a limitation here, right? Prior to our property education, I didn't know that sourcing agents existed. And when somebody asks me, what's a sourcing agent? And I say, literally, do you know what a real estate agent is to somebody selling their property? You become a real estate agent to a property investor, but you're specifically looking for things. You will run the numbers specifically, package that deal, and sell them. And little did I know, after property education, that's what I would become, literally a sourcing agent. But prior to that, if somebody tried to explain to me prior to the education, I will think, what? Stop they smoking? These guys must share with me the good stuff or something, you know what I mean? Because it just sounds so far-fetched. But
Yeah.
the thing is, I like the epiphany that you had, is that, hey, wait until we did a survey amongst ourselves. Everybody's choosing because of, I like this particular thing. And now we've got here, now we've got this. So how are we going to find it? Now you're going on to Property 24, each of you, and you each are going to look for different things, which is also quite interesting as well. But now knowing you took that step and you said, okay, I'm going to find myself a coach or I'm going to go through education. And I know Carlo is with the property coach, and you're going through his particular program, getting you to where you are right now. Now it's not just the thumb suck. Now the education has put you in a space of, even now when TJ and Rieta, not that they would, but if TJ and Rieta comes with a deal, you are then able to also analyze that deal from a very educated standpoint, and also know where you are taking the money to. You then be able to account to those that are investing in your Stokvel to say, hey guys, I'm not just the face of the Stokvel. I'm educated in how we need to do this. And the education behind that is important, because now we can also assist the deals that are coming from M5 Property Addicts. So those are so many wins. I'm like, win, 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 win. If I had one of those machines now, you have won. That's the way I'm feeling right now. So that is absolutely awesome. So now that everybody understands how you got here, because most times people see an end product. And there's two types of people. There are nice people, and then there are trolls. The nice people will say, oh, she's so lucky. I wonder how she got there. I wonder if I could ever get there. And I call them nice because they're not condescending or ugly. And then there are the trolls. The other people that will say, hey, that one she can talk because she's got money. Those trolls. Like, I like my trolls because when they throw stones, I look at the validity in the stones. There's no validity. I see who they are if I know them. And then I think, what does their life produce? This one is just a troll. Why? Because there's always going to be somebody that likes what you do and dislikes what you do. After a while, you just kind of have to start sipping through things. Say this again.
So
Say it again. You just broke out there for a second.
Now I'm saying you basically tell them to check yourself before you troll me.
Exactly.
Like
But on that subject about trolls, for me, one of the things I learned is that, especially because I've got an online footprint in different industries, because I enjoy online stuff. Because outside of FHC consulting, I've also got an online business, and there's always going to be that one nasty person. That one nasty person. And I remember the first comment that I got was so hurtful. I felt it was hurtful at the time, yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, how dare that person thinks I was working for such and such a company when all I was doing is contracting my skill. And then I was like, Genevieve, calm yourself down. Do they know? No. Do they know what you do? No. Did they investigate? By the way they put this answer together, no. So you're getting upset for what? And then I became a stalker. I decided, let me go and see this person's profile. I clicked on their name. And it's just, this is where I developed my, whatever, troll. And I clicked on their name. And I remember going through their profile, and I'm like, their life on what they portray on Facebook, which generally is, a lot of people portray the nice side or the fake side or the pretend side, right? Their pretend side is not even something I want to be. So, Jen, why are you being upset, gal? Don't worry. And I walked out of there, and I remember replying and saying, all the best, love and light. And now that's how I reply to all my trolls. So if anyone in the future gets all the best or love and light, then you must know I've kind of put you in the troll category, because you're shouting and saying things that you probably have no bearing on. But yes, as I usually do, I sidetrack. But I'm with you, girl. I'm with you. I'm so excited to hear the progress, how you watched your mom, how you developed over time, the questions you had, your investigation. Sakhisizwe, Sakhisizwe didn't exist at the time. You meeting M5 Property Addicts, you guys creating the synergy, but also wanting to know that you are accountable. You went out, you got the education. And for me, I just want to say big ups to you, because that is what separated our failed businesses to our businesses that have excelled. I remember saying to TJ, babe, the one thing we did well and we did right in property was get the education and get a coach. Some people overstate that, but because we lived that out and we had 5 million in debt to understand why we need to be a lot more vigilant.
Mm,
Even now in my online marketing business, I've got a coach. I have to pay my coach who stays in the UK in dollars. And some days I'm like, okay, it's fine. There's a big picture. But when I start seeing the big picture working, I'm like, by the way, you also a coach for a reason. You want to
mm,
guide people, you want to put people in good spaces. So actually, you having taken that step of faith and saying, of everything that we're doing, I'm going to get the education. So now that everyone knows all of that, share with me the the achievements of Sakhisizwe, or at least the ones that you can think of.
yo, Jenna. I honestly, like even in my wildest dreams, I never thought this thing would take off as fast as it has. And
Okay,
if I think it's just been um
I know it's less
about
than 6
five months,
Yeah,
just
I know
about
it's
five
less
months.
than
Because I
yeah.
remember that the first time that I actually had spoke to TJ when he invited me to his podcast was on election day, which was in May, right?
All right.
Because he was like, "Are you voting?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm voting." He was like, "Okay, go vote. When you're done, let's chat." Then we had the podcast in the afternoon in May. If you remember, elections were in May this year.
Yes.
Then I
I
think
think
he
it was
went
the 8th of
away. 'Cause
May.
at the time I still had the ladies Stokvel, right? So I
Yeah.
think then he went away and he spotted opportunity or whatever, and he was like, I think I must call her back again. So then he called me like, I even forgotten about that podcast. I'd moved on with my life, and then like he called me again and said, okay, I think let's meet, let's actually chat, because I told him our challenges at the time, like, okay, we've got the money, we don't know what to do now, and so now we probably met around early June, if I'm not mistaken. Then we had to get the lawyers involved, get the documentation drafted, the constitutions and all of that, and then start, okay, how do we actually now roll this out? So we actually officially had our first info session towards the end of June, where we actually now started getting members. And within, I think it was July or early August, when we made our first investment, which was in Durban, we already had 26 members.
Oh wow.
By then. We had 26 members in just under 2 months. And,
Wow.
and we had raised at the time about 500,000 Rand.
Wow. Yes, you know what? I remember coming into the home office and overhearing 400 and something thousand in such a short period of time, and all of you guys were having like this moment, and I'm like, oh, I've walked in the business call, but just listening to that, I can remember that. I don't know the day or time, I don't know what you were having a business meeting about, but I remember you guys just being in shock that in such a short period of time you were able to then raise this amount of money.
Yeah. So for me, it was like, oh my word, what? So and since then, I think as it stands today, we're now just under 1.2 million. Our members are getting paid on a monthly basis. We've just grown. We've done our info sessions in multiple cities. People even still ask me, Cindy, like, do you still have a job? I'm like, yes, I still have a job, guys. This is a side gig. Like, they can't believe that, I actually do this as a side hustle. It's not like my main gig. I still have a 9 to 5 job and all of that. But I mean, the people have just warmed up. And I think as it stands now,
Mm.
I have to check the latest numbers, Jenna, but I know we're over 65 members.
Wow, well done. Oh, I'm like just getting goosebumps all over. Oh, that is so awesome.
We've got over 65 members that are contributing.
Wow.
And the thing is, like you're saying, you've got trolls. Sometimes people join, but it's like a begrudging thing. Like, oh, must I read? Paying money is not nice, Jenna. I know. Like, if I have to go
Yeah,
buy groceries or pay whatever, it's a struggle.
I'm with you. I'm with
It's
you.
painful parting with your money. But
Yeah.
but the love and the support and the encouragement from like all the members, it's just out of this world. I think we are yet to have someone who just sends us hate mails and who's not happy or who's whatever. People are just they and as you mentioned with Stokvels, and especially handling people's money, transparency is important. So the
Yeah.
platform that we're using, it just creates that level of comfort for everyone to say they know
That is
exactly what's
fantastic.
going on. We communicate with them all
Mm.
the time. We're available. I was even like the first time we had our info session, I was telling TJ, I'm like, TJ, do I have to tell the people my phone number? She's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, to the whole country. And I'm
Imagine.
like, I told him, I'm like, do you know that I've had this number since 1999? My first cell phone that I got.
You and me are the same WhatsApp group. I've also got I've actually my first number as of January 2000, because I'd all paid in the Netherlands and I came home in January 2000 and I got my first phone in January 2000. Oh my days!
So I'm like, now, what if like everybody's stalking me on this number and now I must change it? I really struggled with that because I'm a very private person,
I can
and
only imagine.
so, and even on Facebook, like I had these privacy settings, I still have them now, but I've loosened some of them up a bit, because I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
people want to see now, they don't want to be scammed, and so I had to loosen some of my
yeah.
privacy. But before, I was very tight, even I wouldn't accept random people's friend requests and stuff like that if I didn't know you.
Mm.
So now I've had to open that up, and so it's been like even a transition, even just speaking to people. I'm a very introverted, quiet person, So now I have to come and not only talk and convince people to part with their money. It's hard.
I can imagine. Slee, you have touched so many components that I relate to. Prior to business, I was like, my Facebook settings were on lockdown. Do you know it's lockdown? If I got to 200 people, even though I'm I'm an extrovert on the other hand. Everyone hears me before they see me. I'm that girl. It's not deliberate. It's just who I am. And I love me that way. Because the moment I say, oh, no, I'm not whatever, like everyone, Jenna, you sick or you're not well. Like I can't be quiet because everyone thinks I'm not well when I'm quiet, right? And I remember getting over 200 friends on Facebook. And Slee, I would go, like I would literally unfriend. Who is this one here? I don't know how come. And then like that 200 number disturbed me. And then at one given point, I came into business, which was 2017 in March. And I also had to put my number out there. So when you said that, like I was just like, oh my God, at least I'm not the only one. I put my number out there and I was now out there on Facebook and I was sharing what I do and like all of these different insecurities in me started coming up. Like this is not cool, guys. Like, and then I literally just had to be. And I remember the day I moved past the 500 friend mark. I was like, yo, my head was going ba 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 ba, and like everything in me. And one of my friends actually said to me, "What are you being so hysterical for? Like you just allowed mouth at friends and whatever." I said, "No, it's just Facebook. I got Facebook more for my sister who's in the UK and friends, and we want to share things. Like this is I literally used Facebook for what it was intended for way back then, right?" And I promise you, the moment I actually started letting out that I'm in property investing, the wheels fell off the bus. Okay. And then I got to this 800 friend mark. But then my criteria was at least we should have 3 or 4 people in common. And then this year was a new level. This year, when I actually launched my 1-day property training, together with my 8-week group coaching, because it was just a very different twist as to whatever is happening on the market right now. Actually, I have gone from that 800 mark. Now I'm sitting probably about 1,400 people. I kid you not. Everybody that
Wow.
comes through right now, my criteria is if we do not have more than 15 friends in common, those 15 friends that we need to have in common must fall under 3 categories: property, Toastmasters, or church, but a very specific church. And I promise you, I'm sitting with 250 friend requests right now because I'm scared to accept them. Because the moment I accept 3 people, I get another 10 requests. Then I don't know what to do with it. So yes, I can understand. Like for me, that was like layer upon layer upon layer, literally being out there. Now I'm thinking, you an introvert and you felt that way. I'm an extrovert and I felt that way. It just probably just goes back to who we are as people and how we want to keep certain things private to us. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
I
quite a
can
transition, hey?
Facebook really was intended to be used for like family and friends, sharing pictures of your kids and whatever milestone events in your life, blah 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 blah.
Mm,
But the world is moving now, and so we need to be
yeah,
more open to how the world changes. You know, like for example, like people who send me messages, oh wow, something what you're doing is so inspirational. There's people that I don't know, so you also need
yeah,
to not be selfish with your journey and your information because other people draw inspiration from that.
yeah,
So okay, I'm not as strict as you, Jen, and now I accept people, but I've had dodgy guys now. You know, the
yeah,
minute you accept a guy's friend request, he thinks you accepted his marriage proposal. So with guys,
yeah,
you must at least have friends.
yeah, no,
Guys are dodgy. Anyway,
yeah,
so you
no,
know
but
they
I
always say that growth happens outside of your comfort zone.
absolutely
So if you
true.
wanna remain in your comfort zone, you're never gonna grow.
Yeah, you're
So, you
very
know,
right.
because we had to be out there, we had to do info sessions. I had to open up my Facebook profile. My number had to be out there. People WhatsApp
Yeah,
me and all of those other things. I had to be accessible to the people. So I
yeah,
had to move out of my comfort zone, accept that this is my now, my new reality.
true.
So back to your previous question where you're asking about, you know, what successes
Mm,
we've had since
mm.
we've launched. And I think one of the biggest one was this little baby here, you know,
Yes, that
which
is
was the,
exactly where I'm heading to with my next question. So I love it.
you
I
know,
love it. Tell us more about that little baby.
so this one here, I don't know if you guys can see, all right? It's like Investor of the Year, and it says here, Innovative Investor of the Year. So basically, you know, I entered the competition or the awards really because it was like we're doing investing. You know, all our Stokvel members are
Mm.
investors. We're all investors. Like you're saying that, you know, we've got this perception of what an investor is and what they look like. But all 65 members of our members are investors. Either any one of them could have even entered and say, I'm an investor too. You know, they could have
Uh-huh.
because they are. You know, they are. They're
True.
just investing
Very
with others.
true.
You know. So there's nothing different. And I entered as an investor at Sakhisizwe. You know what I'm saying? That was
With
my pitch.
you.
The judge that said, I'm a Stokvel member and I've invested, and this is how I've accessed property opportunities. You know, so it's like we're basically combining the best of both worlds. And I was talking about how you know, property has always been there in our communities, even in rural communities. I know, like my
Yes.
granny lives in a very rural community. The chief owns the land there, and in order to
Okay.
have like to maintain your little stand, you pay 100 rand a year. It's not a lot, but you
But
pay 100
yeah,
to use that land for your family. So that's still investing in a way because that land is his, you know, and for
absolutely.
generations to come, you know. So our mothers, you know, in our communities as back rooms, those are all
For
property investments.
investments.
And now we're just
Absolutely.
basically now combining everything that we've known and we've created this thing. I think that is why, you know, probably we won this award because we're like, and the theme of the awards were to inspire and to encourage all South
Mm.
Africans to invest in
Yes.
property because
Yes.
you don't have to have this big amounts of money. Your family, your friends can club together and say, let's put 50 grand each and let's buy something, you know, and that's how you start. Or
Humble
let's use the sweat
beginnings.
equity, let's find the deals and find that rich uncle who's got money but doesn't know what to do with it, and let's help him invest in property. You know, there's so many ways that you can spin this thing. So yeah, so that was just one of the highlights of the year. Really was just that recognition and winning and winning the award.
No, fantastic. It's like you knew that was my next question because I was going there. Because for me, the main part of this interview, Slee, it's slightly selfish, right? It is first for people to understand who you are. It is, and this is the selfish part, is that sometimes I get people saying, but I don't have the time. I'm still in my 9 to 5 job. And I'm like, then you're not hungry enough. That is my opinion. It might not necessarily be true to somebody else, but that's my opinion. And literally listening to your journey, unpacking your journey is where my selfish part was lying, right? Because I'm just thinking, can people first know Celine? Can people understand that you too go through the struggles that everybody else goes through? You didn't just wake up one day with a rich uncle that left you in an inheritance, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
Mm-hmm.
just for people to acknowledge you, and of course we're celebrating you through this particular award. And for me, I want to say, from one female entrepreneur with a vision of note to another female entrepreneur with a vision of note, you have done us all proud. Because there's on so many different levels I want to share that you've done us proud with transforming the way people see property investing by going up and standing on behalf of Sakhisizwe. You are a wife. I know there's some days when I'm working until 2 o'clock in the morning and my husband says, "Hey, Chen, I know you're an entrepreneur, but just calm down." And I'm like, I've got such a vision, and my mission is really to enhance people's lives and to teach people, and just like, so leave me while I'm creating. And then I
Mm.
know that from a wife point of view, it can become a struggle sometimes. From a
Yeah.
mom point of view, right now, just below the camera, I was putting toothpaste on a toothbrush because somebody decided that it's holidays and she's not sleeping at the right time, and she's sitting with Gogo. So, but now here behind, while I'm interviewing, I'm putting a 4-year-old toothpaste on your toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? And celebrating you from all these different aspects, but more so, you in the workplace, creating something different. So the day that you decide you're going to take the leap of faith and walk away from the workplace, it may not even be in property. It may
Mm.
just be that property is paying you and you follow your passion, or it could very well be that your work is your passion. And many people, for I believe, in my opinion, many people forget to see that. So we celebrate you in so many different ways, from a woman, from a mother, from an entrepreneur, and as somebody that heads up an organization to enable people that didn't have before in property investing. So we salute you, lady. Like, this is, for me, that's why I was so excited. Like, today, this is not going to show me flames. Zoom not connecting to Facebook and Facebook not working. It's not good. It's not going to show us flames.
We will do this one way or another.
Exactly. And
Yeah, no,
and it's,
100%. Thanks,
yeah.
Jane.
And it's from that point of view I want to say, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for also sharing from your emotional point of view. Because I know that feeling of, yo, now I have to take these private settings off. I try my best. It's just some of those guys. Hello, baby. How are you? 3 seconds.
Ish.
We yo. My blocked list is as long as my friend request list. And the other day, I just said, Tao, just take over. Like, at this point, I'm just tired. But again, coming from, it may just be a poking fun point of view, but coming from another point of view, one needs to be open and accessible to others that are looking, like you were
Mm.
looking and you didn't know TJ and them were looking. And when TJ touched base with you, Rieta touched base with you, you just, you almost like, these people know me. I know that feeling so well. There was somebody that I touched base with some time back, and he's like, I've been watching your growth. Really well done. I love what you're doing for people that are starting out in property investing. So for me, again, now for me, that's a personal one, from a very personal point of view on helping people to start very much from the beginning. To you,
Mm.
I commend you, lady. Like, there's so many levels, but I needed you to know it's from those levels that we love you, and it's from those levels that some of us, we may not be involved with you every day, but when we look and look up at you, we respect you. And I know that everybody watching this particular interview will feel exactly that same way. And if they don't, they can just kind of walk across the N1. It's okay. And yeah, so I just want to ask you the last question as you close off. Is there something that you would like to share, or maybe share with us? No, not no, that's such a huge question. Rather, share with us, if somebody is interested in Sakhisizwe, what is the process? Okay, that's what you will share with us, and then you will
Yeah.
also end off with whatever your words are, and then I'll release you at this crazy hour.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for the opportunity, Jenna. Thank you for the interview. With all the interviews that I do, I always connect with the interviewer in one way or another because we always find these similarities, and you're like, oh, wow. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed the chat. I know we've just bumped into each other here and there, but I think today I got to know you. Funny enough, you interview me, but I also got to find out more about you, which is quite awesome. And then in terms of how people can actually join Sakhisizwe, we've got a website, www.sakhisizwepropertystokvel.co.za. We also have a Facebook page, Sakhisizwe Property Stokvel. And then, yeah, so those are the best ways that you can just get the information that you need. Yeah, and then in terms of what I'd like to share before I go, really, guys, with if you are watching this interview, you're probably interested in property in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, start with where you are, start with what you know, but just start. Get the
Yeah.
knowledge. There's plenty of people that are willing to help to
Yes.
get you started. Reach out, ask for help. You don't have to do it on your own. Whether you're doing it like with Sakhisizwe, where we are Stokvel and we are investing together, or you're joining like a coaching group that Jenna does. So there's many ways to do this thing. You're starting with your family and figuring it out as you go along, or with your friends. But just start. There's never a better time than now.
Yeah.
Procrastination is the enemy of success. So you're never gonna get anywhere if you keep procrastinating. If you wanna do it, just do it now. Find out what you need to do to get started. And because they say the best time to get started in property was 20 years ago, and the next best time is like now.
No,
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
so otherwise time, it slips by. It slips
Does.
by. You'll think next month, tomorrow, next thing it's a year, it's 10 years, and you still haven't done anything. So that would be my message to everyone.
Your parting words. No, that is absolutely fascinating. I mean, we're at a close not just of a year, but of a decade as well. And so yeah, life is just interesting that way. Thank you so much, Lee. Tonight has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for making my evening. And absolutely just remember, we salute you, we salute what you are doing. And I want to tell you one funny story before we say goodbye. It's going to be quick, I promise, because I know it's late. It was in September. September, I'm running my normal 1 day training as usual. You advertise, people pay, they come through, right? And there was somebody, as people coming through, I'm like connecting. Oh, now I connect with you because I also spoke to you before, la la la. They sit down, and one of the ladies comes through and she says to another gentleman in the class, you were Sakhisizwe member. And I was like, what happened? Like I was so blown. She says, I recognize your name because I mean, it's not every day I see a name like yours. And I recognize your name. And she went on, it was excitement. Okay. What
Mm-hmm.
was so fascinating was that at the end of that training, not even at the end of the training, just before we started, at the end of that conversation, I then realized there were 3 Sakhisizwe people that had come through. And I said, oh, so did you guys get to knowing about the training that I offer because of Sakhisizwe and M5? They're like, no, we were following you too. So I want to say that in that, you may follow different types of people and you just don't know how they connected.
Yeah,
So it was
true.
absolutely lovely to know that. I said, guys, today I'm serving 3 Sakhisizwe people, and you guys didn't realize how we were connected, even though I'm in the
Mm,
really back of the back scenes when it comes to that, not directly involved, but many people know me as TJ's wife, which is okay as well. So
mm,
yes, I also get a
yeah,
chance to serve some of you guys that have come through. So in what you said, they too could have gone up to go and get that accolade, but you did it. So awesome, and congratulations again. Thank you so much for joining. And
thank
please,
you.
appreciation to your husband and kids to say they let mom out at this time of the evening. No, I'm just kidding, but to let you be at this time of the evening to have an interview just to share with everybody that they too can do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Thanks, you too.
Okay,
Bye.
bye. All right. So that was us saying goodbye to Silindile, Flea. And let's see. I'm sure she's going to exit right now. And as she's exiting, guys, I just want to really close this off very quickly. Sorry. This has been very awesome. This has been very interactive. And I really want to say, so many times we go through, should I start this, shouldn't I start this, and whatnot, right? And by going through all the things that we think is the right way, or we think is be careful not just to get stuck in your could be's or your should be's or your maybes. So I really want to encourage everybody that what I really did, I believe, is try my best to cover as much as I could within this particular time, right? As much as I could from a an investing perspective from a Stokvel perspective, but also not only a Stokvel perspective from somebody who started their journey and they didn't understand or realize what it is that they were doing. And we can cover just so much in an hour, right? And I think we're really coming to the top of the hour in doing so. So I'm really, really excited to say that there's so much more that I would love to share with you. So there's something very quickly I want to specifically give to the Sakhisizwe members, and I'm going to post this onto the Facebook page. So every Sakhisizwe member that is out there, or anyone that is in the Sakhisizwe space, I'm going to run a competition and see who we can give a Merry Christmas to, in gifting them the property online bootcamp course that I've put together, and to see who it is that from this competition can win, and then start understanding that the head that has put the constitution together, how she decides, yes, actually I'll get involved in that project, no, I'm not going to get involved in that project, from a very systematic way. And then also for those that are interested in, you know what, I'm not going to even join the competition, I already want the course, I'm going to share the details to the course. So you could have any which hat. If you say, no, Jen, I'm just really interested in the course, tell me. Or yes, Jen, I'm really interested in the competition, tell me. I really just want to share with you, or rather ask you this particular question. Would you like my help in getting started or potentially unstuck in property investing? I've prepared something really, really awesome, and I know that you will benefit immensely from it, because I've seen so many of my students go through this process and benefit from it, okay? The training that I do offer delves into a variety of information, techniques, and strategies from which you can choose your own particular favorite. The things that I do go through in terms of um, the course is something I call pre-training. But of course, on the digital course, you'll find that's the beginning, and that's where I always encourage everybody to start with. Start at the beginning, because the course talks about belief in failures and what it teaches us. And I know that we had gone through so much in life. We felt like we had just gone through the most. We had gone through things where we felt like, could this just turn out better for us? And what I learned in hindsight is that all the things I believed about property investing or about business was my own preconceptions, which is not a bad thing, right? Because we experience life in different ways. But the failures that we also went through, I felt like those failures were like, I'm not good enough. But when I realized that in hindsight, it becomes part of my story. It becomes, now that I know, now that I know different, what could I do different? And within the course, I talk about getting started in property, the different strategies that are there. Earlier, I mentioned one of the strategies where the strategy was like, you become a real estate agent for an investor and you get paid for it, right? We talk about using other people's money. How awesome is it that the Stokvel has learned how to use other people's money in by putting the monies together, and you benefit from there. So by using other people's money, it doesn't mean that they won't benefit, but it also simply means that you too will benefit from this particular journey. And throughout this process, I also talk about how I find property investors. One of the other big questions that I get asked for people that are feeling, like they're stuck, is that, Jen, I've got all my properties under one roof. I don't know how to scale up from here. And we talk about that scalability in terms of the different entities that we can use to buy properties, right? And then I also start sharing very, very simple nuggets, but very powerful nuggets that I learned at the beginning of my journey. And I teach you different lessons through my property investing journey, and everything that we've learned throughout the day, we literally are put in together at the end. So we tie in all these different lessons, we tie in all these different aspects on how we can make things better. This is what I'm saying. If you are interested in starting your journey and you want to be part of this competition, this is what you will win. But if you're saying, I'm not even waiting for the competition, I already want it yesterday, this is what you will go through. And I've also added bonuses, because what I understood and what I understand right now, from when you go through a course online, sometimes you just need that human touch. And one of the bonuses is a personalized coaching session with me. So you can choose, you're going to start going through the content, you're going to write down questions that keep popping up, and you could wait until the end, kind of in the middle or whatever it is, and say, Jen, you'll email me, Jen, I'm ready for that personalized coaching call. I'm ready to talk to you face to face by sharing with you what I've gone through, what I'm learning right now, and how can I make things different going forward. And this is a bonus I add because I know so many times, I don't know if you anything like me, but early days with online courses, I didn't finish all of them, quite admittedly. At one stage, the day I finished my one online course, I was like, yo, I am the girl. I have survived. And this is why I thought, if I put in a personalized coaching session, just imagine you won that session. Just imagine. But just imagine you decided to take the leap of faith and you bought this particular program and you said, I want to get my learning on during this quiet time, during this time of festive, during this very quiet time of where I don't have work pressures. What would your journey look like from here on in? And I've added a second bonus. So not only will you get all this content I'm talking about, and then have this personalized call at your choice of time, okay? But you'll also get a book called Powerful Entrepreneur, because what I do understand is that the people that I do help, like Silindile, she got a side hustle, which is Sakhisizwe. She's still in the workplace, right? And she's learning so many different aspects about being an entrepreneur. This is what I'm gifting to you, the book called Powerful Entrepreneur, because it then starts opening up your mind about different aspects of entrepreneurship, different types of entrepreneurs. So what if you like Slee and you planning your exit? You plan your exit in this way, right? You go through the course, you get through the personalized coaching session that you have with me, and then you decide, I'm going to go and apply for a bond for my first property. And my first property is going to be a multi-let, for example, and that multi-let is going to pay me. You're going to use working and having access to a bond to start off your resignation period. What are Slee's plans? Slee decided she's going to take her fate into her own hands. What are the plans that you have got? Are you taking them into your own hands? And last but certainly not least, not only will you get this course, a coaching session with me, and it's going to be face to face on a webinar channel, just like I am sharing with you right now, where you will even get the recording and always remember that first leap of faith that you've taken. Not only will you get this course, not only will you get this personalized coaching session, you'll get the book, and you'll get a podcast. And this podcast will be able to share with you the best way to buy your property, your investing properties. And the best way is different for everybody. But the way it is rolled out, it is explaining what is it that you're after. Are you in this for trading, for investing? Is this going to be one of many property investing opportunities that you're going to get in this particular structure? What is it that you after? It literally explains to you right through the things you need to consider before you take that leap of faith. Or if you've taken that leap of faith, how you can already have a corrective measure before you continue your journey. And for me, I think that is the most awesome thing. And that is done by a top lawyer who one of his specialties is property law. Now just think about that. This whole this whole cause with these bonuses strategically placed to help you make informed decisions. This is what it's all about. And I want to say that at each given point, this content plus all of these different bonuses, they are all valued at 11,997 Rand. But if you take the leap of faith, there's a surprise waiting for you on the other side. So if all you did was help to create a step in the right direction towards the goal you want to achieve, I'm asking you today, would it be worth it? Would it be worth it to join the competition to either win it? Or would it be worth it to say, stuff the competition, I want it regardless? Would it be worth it for you? Because what I've learned over time is that money is a tool for exchange. You spend money to get something greater in return. What if you could shift your disposable income from things that do not bring you a brighter tomorrow to assets that can assist you to start your time freedom, to open the path to financial freedom? Spend it on something that will bring you absolute long-term fulfillment. So I want to say, as I come to a close, time is whizzing by. Each month, money comes in, but sadly, time does not. Every month, you can guarantee that if you're working, you're going to get a salary, right? But time is different. Time doesn't come in like money every month. So I want to say, this time that we had together was really interesting. Would you agree? Listening to Silindile's story, listening to what she's gone through, listening to the fact that she had had such an epiphany in her lifetime. But what became so much more powerful is that when she sought out the education and the coaching to help her make better choices in property investing, Investor of the Year award in the innovative category. So if Slee can do this in less than 6 months, what do you think you could do? So if we leave now, all I'm going to say is that we're going to slip into old habits. If you want to change, or if you're looking for change, you need repeated exposure of the thing that you are after. You can't rely on information alone. You need an accountability partner. Potentially, you may need education that will set your journey in the right direction. And I believe that we need to surround ourselves with like-minded people. Slee said that. And it's not cliche, but the moment you get into that space, guys, I promise you, things start popping. And I literally believe, everything conspires in this lifetime for your success. So I want to say at this point, my personal two choices. I can decide that I can literally just give away this course for nothing. Okay. I want you to take action. And the action is simple. I can either go cheap and sell as many courses as possible. Or I could give it away. Or I can sell a little bit more expensive and ensure that whatever we do, whatever you take away, becomes resources to build you. Those are the two choices I have. But this evening, I've decided that this course that is valued at market value at 11,997 Rand, I'm going to discount it only because of where we are and where we're going to as people. The price will change. There's no doubt about it because I know the value that is in here. So I want to say to you, you can either decide, you know what, I'm going to put my email address and then win this thing, hopefully, right? But you could also decide, you know what, if I don't win it, or I'm not going to even wait to win it, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it. Or would be the best investment that you've made. So I've heard people constantly say, I don't have time. And Silindile today, she threw that right out the window, right? When we started, time wasn't also on our side. Right now, I'm interviewing somebody, but I was giving others toothpaste. And yes, it may sound like, oh, crazy girl. But at the end of the day, I know that because of what I've experienced, it's literally my mission to share with everybody that has an interest, that has got a curiosity or potentially stuck somewhere. about how they can get unstuck, how they can get started. That is my mission. Somebody once asked me, why don't you just give it away for free? I've done that. I have literally also just given this course away for nothing. Some people have come through my doors for nothing. Some people have come through at a discounted rate, second to none, like nothing. But you know what? At that point, for me, I thought I was doing the world a world of good. And I just realized when we don't exchange, we don't realize the return on investment. And I've not seen anyone excel that I've given the course for nothing. I don't regret it. But I just want to say I get that question quite often. So I want to challenge you that while this course that is 11,000, valued at 11,997 Rand, I decided to drop the 11,000 component. And this course is available for 997 Rand for everything that I shared, including the bonuses. And don't worry, halfway through, I'm not going to be like ISCOM, take the lights out. There's no stage 6 there. You're going to get full access to all of this online, including that personalized coaching session, including that gift, including the gift of the book, including the gift of the pot. Everything is at your disposal straight away. So I want to say at this particular point, I know I'm nothing special. Yet, look at what I was able to do. Look at what Silindile has been able to do in 6 months in a Stokvel. How many people out there would say a Stokvel? How many people don't think much of a Stokvel? Some of us, we grew up with Stokvels around us, right? So Silindile, for what she's done, she's taken the Investor of the Year award for innovation. TJ, my husband, on behalf of our household, people don't see the sacrifice that is done. He took away the Property Investor of the Year award for big leagues. So if we can do it and we're nothing special, where are you and what will you be doing? And I know he took it for the team. I know he took it for our household. I know he took it for his accomplishments. So I want to say at this given point, you're going to get this course where we're going to be talking about failures and beliefs, what it teaches us, getting started in property fundamentals, property investing fundamentals, different strategies, using other people's money, where we're going to find investors, the life cycle of property deals, podcast from a top lawyer in South Africa that specializes in property law. Guys, how much better can we get with that? Including bonuses of a coaching session with myself and an ebook talking so much about entrepreneurship. Let me tell you a quick story about that ebook. That ebook, I had sourced out the master resale rights. Some people may not even understand what that is. I didn't understand what it is until I found it. And I found this guy who wrote the book, and his name is Daniel. And Daniel and I had a conversation, and it cost me in dollars to get that book, the master resale rights. And he said to me, in South Africa, where you are, because he's from America, you can sell the book at whatever you want to. In fact, because you've got the master resale rights, edit the book wherever you feel possible so that it can be befitting to where you are in South Africa. And you can put that your name on the book. You can literally do that. And I'd gone through that. Why? Because when I got that book and I read through it, it opened up my mind, simple strategies, yet profound. And that's why today I gift it to you, because I've got the license, literally got the license to do that. So with all of this, it is valued at 11,997 for festive, until sometime in January. It's going to be 997 Rand. However, I want to share this with you because I know the value of that. I may not even keep it around at 997. It will go up. There's no doubts about that. It will go up. There's absolutely no doubts about that. So for those that are interested in competition, you're going to see the link to enter the competition. And for those of you that are saying, stuff the competition, I want it now, and I am ready to invest in my future, you are going to see that as well. So I want to say, guys, take good care. Thank you so much for going right through with us. This has been a touch and go technology, thanks to technology, but we eventually got it right. And I'm absolutely thankful that we got it right.